Today is, of course, Shrove Tuesday, which is the day before Ash Wednesday. And that's the start of Lent, a period of reflection, fasting, which lasts for 7 weeks and culminates at Easter. Now, normally people will give something up for Lent. Even secular people will do that. And the point of Shrove Tuesday, or Pancake Day, as it's known in the UK and some other places, is to eat all the rich food you'll be abjuring from, you'll be denying yourself over the next 40 days. So milk, butter, sugar, eggs, you get pancakes. Historically, this was a world without refrigeration. This was stuff that you weren't going to eat. Enjoy yourself. Be a little bit gluttonous for the day. And while you might take confession on Shrove Tuesday, and yes, technically it's the end of something called Shrovetide, it's basically the day before something big. It's the pre-event, so to speak. It's the warm-up act. It's about pancakes. Keir Starmer appears to be unsure about that, though. He posted this on X. Wishing a happy Shrove Tuesday to everyone who is celebrating. Rooted in Christian tradition, today is an opportunity to reflect on the values that bring us together. And outside Downing Street, you have two chefs tossing pancakes. Kieran, this might seem like a puerile story, and in some ways it is. In some ways it is. But I think this says a lot about Keir Starmer. Firstly, he's not religious, whatever. But he's saying about the values that bring us together. So it's a guy who's not even a Christian, and most Brits aren't Christians. It's a guy who's sort of appealing to Christian norms, referring to a day which isn't even really about Christian norms, about pancakes. And for me, this gets to the heart of the kind of superficiality and the vacuity of centrist politics. I swear to God, every day I go on X, all of these guys, Peter Kyle and Keir Starmer and Liz Kendall, they're celebrating a new day. Diwali, Nowruz. I'm half Iranian, all right? Don't start anything. Nowruz, Iranian New Year. Maybe they don't do that one. It's a bit too, geopolitically sensitive. Every day it's a new day. The day I never see celebrated by Labour politicians, certainly not by the Labour Prime Minister, is, of course, International Workers' Day. Funny that. What do you make of this fetish for celebrating days and posting graphics on social media about new festivities I learn about pretty much every week, actually, I must say?
Well, in matters of theology, Catholic theology, I come to you, Aaron. So I trust you when you say Pancake Day doesn't have strong religious significance. I think you've touched on the nub of it, really. It points to the kind of vacuousness and the kind of retreat into a paint-by-numbers representative politics, rather than actually setting yourself the difficult task of trying to improve the material conditions of people's lives, which used to be what politics was supposed to be about. I'm not saying it always was. There's always been froth and bubble. There's always been superficiality and so on. But it seems to be all that Keir Starmer can muster these days. So it's a kind of depoliticization of public life almost. And that's what's so bloody depressing about it, is when it's coupled with a lack of material improvement and a lack of material seriousness. If Keir Starmer were transforming the country into a social democratic or democratic socialist, modern industrialized utopia, eradicating all sorts of social ills, I'm sure we'd be fine with whatever nonsense, froth and bubble, paint by numbers, representative politics rubbish he wants to put out. But it's when that sort of seems to fill an outsized amount of space that you start to think, ugh, give me a break.
It's politics as punditry, right? That's the thing now. I see so many politicians who seem to think their job is punditry.
Right.
They'll go on LBC and they'll pontificate about this or that. And I'm thinking, well, hold on, you've got Nick Ferrari for that. You don't need to do that. I don't need the Prime Minister to talk about Pancake Day, how it brings us together. A Labour Prime Minister, these are the inheritors of people that built this country's labour movement and a political party that's meant to represent that labour movement. They went through horrors to get the 8-hour day, to get the weekend, an extraordinary story. And now their latter-day descendants are some of the most vacuous, and as we've seen with other stories today, incompetent people